Okay, 6:05 a.m. here. As you can see, there's barely light coming up. 6:05 a.m. Thursday morning, November the 20th, 21st. Turn on my favorite radio station. Defendant jotted down notes that Deputy DA Max Huntsman spoke to the jury. So what I was prosecutor focused on that highly scrutinized email exchange between Spacha and the incoming Bell City Police Chief Randy Adams in 2009. So what happened is what I was saying. The attorney Zulu Ali, whose legal profession, his office is advertised throughout the mosque or what is called Masajid. Now, I hope Cat didn't get the tongue of Attorney Ali, or cowardice didn't enter his heart. Be a man with a decorated military record as well as law enforcement, because he never called me back. He never called me back. In addition, never emailed me back or anything. In addition to attorney and noted constitutional expert, former official, administration official, but the preeminent constitutional expert, attorney Bruce Fine. The same thing. I would reach out for legal experts or legal expertise, letters or men of letters and law, well-read men. Nobody will call me back. Nobody ever returns my calls. This is what I'm talking about, the Ed Snowden thing, blowing up about the surveillance and what it's used for. If you look into my case, if any of you has any courage left or metal, either womanhood or manhood, gonads, nuts or whatever you want to call them, a pair, a sack, or whatever it is, you'd want to call it. Bismillah. Because of the terrorism surveillance assigned to me, legal expertise in my favor is not desired by the government or officials of the black operations, as a noted New York City detective, very publicly noted, televised New York City detective, told me personally when I called him, because I was about to get an appointment to see him, to meet him. He told me that it looks like my situation is targeted by a black op, a black operation, meaning a situation, an illegal black op at that. He said he didn't want to get involved. First name with a B, last name with D. German last name. He said he didn't get involved. It looks scary, op. It looks like a black op, against a U.S. citizen. He is the bread man. I don't want to get in the way of his business with the bread truck over here. So he told me it looked like a black op operation. The noted, famous New York City detective, but of note, attorney Bruce Fine, who I did try to reach out to, and it'll be on records. I'm not going to tell you how or where, but I have record of it. Attorney Bruce Fine would not call me back. Would not call me back, and after I would call his cell phone, and he would pick up once, maybe twice afterward, going into the details of my case. He never answered. He never answered my phone calls again. Once he realized I was calling from San Francisco, attorney Bruce Fine, constitutional law scholar and attorney Bruce Fine, Fein, never called me back again. Never called me back again. As if there were people part of a lynching squad of the intelligence community said, we want to hang this guy up. He's ours. Stay away from him. He belongs to us. This kind of stuff. As I'm driving here in Cyprus, this kind of stuff goes on in America, and they think they can get away with it. And they're gonna lynch me and lynch my mother and all that financially. Fuck them, man. They want to do it. Declare a place, declare a time, and we duke it out like man on man. And I get ready, and you get your beast ready. At an appointed date. But this kind of stuff is well below the belt, and it's not even legal, and going on during the Obama administration, and he may have signed off on it when Lee Kuan Yew made a sudden impromptu visit before President Obama arrived in November 2009. I was kicked out of Singapore October 2009, and they're trying to cover this up, and they're using Senator Dianne Feinstein to cover it up. Also, they're misleading and using the good offices of Senator Dianne Feinstein. They're using her to cover it up. They don't want anybody. I'm trying to think, where was I parked last night when I was getting the internet? No, now I remember. They don't want anybody talking about my case. My case is one of the worst cases in the world of the intelligence abuse and the powers what the powers actually do to people. Like when they announced yesterday at the awards for Nobel laureates or Writers Guild or whatever, such as Maya Angelou and others. I didn't heard details. Something New York. One noted scholar or playwright or person of writ said how, with the electronic age, we must confess as well as acknowledge the complete loss of privacy due to the increased connectivity, but the increased loss of privacy. My case will highlight how much that privacy has been lost. They don't want anybody, they don't want no one in the world to know about my case. No one throughout the world. They don't want anyone knowing about my case. Yeah, it's one of the most tragic, disgusting cases in the world history. They don't want anybody talking about this. So when I try to call on the telephone, they already know, these intelligence officials, the evil officials, whether they be State Department or others, they will know already who I'm reaching out to, and they're able to preempt that. Like when I was calling from South Carolina, like when my mother tried to reach out to the media that the Singapore government had kidnapped me, Aki, and put me underground for anti-terror, for torture detention. When I called her and told her that they were holding me in a torture cell, semi, not underground quite, but semi underground. I could see a little bit of daylight. Um, she said all her communications went out. Phone went out to a degree. It then came back on, but could only make calls. Couldn't get through to a lot of numbers. And Comcast, especially the internet. She said the internet went out. Emails wouldn't come through. She would get a lot of mail or demons for emails that were actually valid. Couldn't get through. Things like that. A lot of weird communication things she would go through during October 2009, between the 13th and the 25th, October 2009, trying to reach out to members of legislator and the media to tell them that Singapore had me underground for terror and detention, and they planned to send me somewhere else. At the behest of Caucasian men, white men, Caucasian men acting badly. We don't know who they are, and they're trying to cover it up with the tacit permission of politicians. So I gotta always park up on here to try to get internet because I can't afford to have internet and the employment that I would normally be allowed to have with my credentials. The employment is a mean woman. This is an Afro American woman I'm parked next to. Mean. The meanest woman I've ever seen in the world. Afro American women, they're some of the meanest, angriest women in reference to the way they deal with their men that I've ever seen. So these Caucasian men, we don't know who these men are that desire this.